Today we have Jedi Mastery in the Scotch Gambit. Now, of course, the people that are here, the Jedi, they are here. First off, let me see you in the chat. Let's put the robes in the chat here. The Jedi that are here already know that we call it the Scotch Gambino here at the GM Factory where the Jedi train. This is what we do. So Scotch Gambino is what we call it. But for everyone else, it's the Scotch Gambit. So the Jedi Mastery in the Scotch Gambit. Thanks for the follow, Jay Collins. Appreciate it. So we're going over the Scotch Gambit. If you know me, you know I love the Scotch Gambit. It's some big boy chess. I love playing it. It's something different. It's not played all the time. And of course, here's the thing about alternatives. Let's talk about that for a minute. You can always play Roy Lopez. You actually have to learn the Roy Lopez to be playing at a very high level, just to be one of those openings like check mark, I played it kind of things. So Roy Lopez, you have to know. But afterwards, after a while, you get tired of playing the Roy Lopez. So even a alternative to the Roy Lopez that Gary Kasparov used to play is the Scotch game, which is still deadly. He even played the Evans Gambit at one point too. Sometimes, but he did play it, and you can look up some games on the Evans Gambit and Gary Kasparov crushing people with the Evans Gambit. So look it up. But he did play the Scotch. He played the Scotch as an alternative with very high win percentages and good stuff there, right? Roy Lopez does get a little dry. Absolutely. I mean, it's the problem is that everybody plays it. It's the Roy Lopez. It's a classic opening, of course. And it also, that's why they play it at the highest level, because they say it guarantees white a small slight advantage. It guarantees a slight advantage. So because of, you just always prefer to honestly be white when you're playing the Roy Lopez, because it's easier to maneuver and plans are quite simple. You can't go wrong, of course, but that's why people are more into Marshall Gambits and stuff with black, because you get more aggressive play, which if that's what you're looking for. So on the stream is a good time. I just switched to the Scotch. That's what's up. That's what's up, Boots. That's what's up. Scotch game is nice. Scotch Gambit is a difference there. And in a Gambit, someone tell me, please, in the chat here, what is a Gambit's objective? What are you gambiting upon for? You have to have intention. I tell my students this all the time. You got to have intention with your moves. So if you're going to gambit something, what do you think we are striving to do with a gambit? Someone put it in the chat, please. What are you striving to get? Follow with all says a position. Giving up material for development, rapid development, says Foey, sack the game positional. To open the line for quick attack, development position. That is 100% correct, guys. And actually, verbatim is actually for Scotch Gambit. I remember the book, the theory that I have, Foey says rapid development. So that's actually the words that they use when I remember studying this for the first time. Gambit a pawn for rapid development. And then, of course, that's exactly what gambits are usually about in the opening a lot of times, or some type of development, some type of edge. All you guys are correct. You gambit a pawn in exchange for development and position. Correct. And development position, weak center, rapid development, all 100% correct. Yes. Now, Scotch Gambit, here we go. This is the moves. I'm playing with the white pieces. Now, let me tell you what this game is. It's a blitz game, and one of my just little blitz sessions where I play a lot of blitz games, analyze them, go over stuff, and then and move forward. So I'm playing at this moment. Thanks for the follow, Glenn Bell. Thanks for the follow. In this game, this was chess.com, and I was playing white, of course, Scotch Gambit, right? And then my opponent was from Russia, and his rating here at the time was 2559. Mine was like 2554. I'm at 2529 now, so dropped a few points playing some tough guys. But 2554 is his blitz rating. And we go through this game. He's playing with the black pieces. Watch what happens here. See if you can guess what happens. Here we go. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. You thinking, oh, Roy Lopez all day. Well, not today. Then they're like, oh, Scotch. Psychological is very big in chess. You can Google Gary Kasparov and psychology chess or anything like that. He'll talk about, the psychology part in chess is very important here. So I like to play the Scotch Gambit because it psychologically breaks a lot of people's minds and they stop and think for a second. It's more like, oh, I know this. This is the Scotch game. They take it, and I can guarantee you, as soon as I play Bishop C4, people start to think because it's not the move that they anticipated. And I know this inside and out, backward and forward, Jedi, no Jedi, every Jedi. I like this stuff. I have no problems with this. I've never lost over the board tournament play with this so far, so we still have a lot of work to do and working on this with the engine and stuff. So I'm loving it. Scotch Gambino. We go Bishop to C4 in this line. All right, so Bishop to C4. He goes Knight F6. There's many ways you can play this. Knight F6, Bishop C5 like Cook to Live did. You also have Bishop B4. You have D6. You have even H6 as a sideline. You have many moves here. Objectively, the best and most concrete to do with the theory and stuff like that is Knight F6. This is what most people do is Knight to F6. And then we go e5. Carlsen has played knight g4 here before, but there is some, you got to be very, very accurate and precise in these kind of lines. So he did that. Oh, bishop c4 first. I thought that was c3. Correct. Nope, c3 is completely different. You could also castle here right now. Lawrence Trent, an international master, he actually has a course out about the Scotch Gambit. It's an older course. I actually grabbed it and I was like, oh, let me check this out, see what he does. So actually, we have differences. A little bit of differences is he castles here. I was taught by Roman Dijihashvili on this stuff. So with that, we don't castle, but you can castle actually, which is a line, but e5 is the other stuff. So I play e5 because this is what I was taught. This is what I learned. So e5. And queen e7 is annoying, correct? It can be, but I can always get out of the way with castle. There's a lot of tricks to it. So black goes d5, which is the regular move here. d5 is the move. And they say, and if you're seeing this analysis for the first time when it comes to the Scotch Gambit, we actually talked about this before for people that have seen this analysis. Not this in particular, but very similar to right here. You never take this knight, because if you take this knight, you get this weird position. So if you play this as white, you get this weird position where black has two bishops and a weird center, but also a nice center, and you have nothing. I've done this before, actually before I started really playing the Scotch Gambit, and got in a lot of trouble. I didn't like this position at all. You're actually losing as white here, so you never want to get this. So what you have to do is move this bishop a second time to b5. We have Captain Prawn says, hey, what's up, Captain Prawns? How are you? Welcome to the stream. So bishop b5 is on the board here. D Price, what's up, man? We in here. We going over Scotch Gambit here. Scotch Gambit game I played. So after bishop b5, knight to e4, objectively the best move. You also have knight d7. I've seen this been played for many years against other players over the board or not on the board. So knight to d7 has been played. It's another alternative to it. Knight to g4 is no good. They never play this. But knight to e4. So he goes knight e4. I take on d4. This is still theory. Now you have bishop d7, which is the move I see the most. But then you also have bishop c5. Now this one is wild. You got to know your stuff, because if you could jump off the deep end and like actually take this stuff, but there are lines which I don't even know what they are. I don't care to know what they are, because I am not trying to get mated over here. When you can, they give this up for some type of material. I mean, of course, like you just get in trouble here. I am not a fan of this. Let me actually see what the engine says. How do we crush it? Well, it's -5 after bishop takes. If you go king e2, hey, let's just start a new one. Let's not even talk about this right now. So king f1. After king f1, what's the best move? Oh, bishop b5. I didn't even see that move. Bishop b5, and you just jumped off the deep end all the way down with a smile. Start a new one. It's just over. Getting crushed. So it's not a move. You cannot do this, which is weird. Very weird compensation there. So I never, ever take it. Now, the engine actually says you can, but you will run into some weirdness. So don't take it. Not a fan. Not me, big fella. And what I've learned from Roman is, oh, you don't take it, because there's tactical lines that you can go into. But why go through all the weird stuff when I can just do what Roman says to do? Bishop to e3. So bishop e3. And now this is about to get very, very weird. This is probably one of the weirdest ones to play. I remember, who has a game here? Peter Svidler. It's so hard saying that. Peter Svidler, right? Yes, but him, I think he was playing white against, I forgot who he played, but he had the white pieces, and it was a definite game exactly just like this. And this was the model game they used actually in the book I was reading. But after bishop to e3, they go castle. And now, guys, try to figure this out. This is very weird. A lot of stuff can be taken. Bishop's on e3. What do you think the theory is now? Now, for the next, I would say, how many moves? 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. The next 5 moves is all theory here. All theory. But I want to know if you guys are able to make the right moves. White to move. Do you castle? Do you take the knight? Do you play f3, c3, queen e2? You got a lot of stuff you can actually do here. Makes you see the other options from the engine. Oh yeah, there's only like 2 moves, 3 moves. There's only like 3 moves. That's it. Castle from Tangy Spider. Queen h5. Never thought of this one. Castle, knight takes c6, c3 I would guess, knight to d2, f3, bishop takes from Foey. So here we go. Actually, the best move here is knight takes c6. Knight takes c6. Boom. So we are hitting the queen. There are no checks because the bishop blocks it. So after that, pawn takes. Okay. Bishop takes c5. Because we could take on c6, but I mean, do you really want to take on c6 and let him take on e3? That's weird. So we take on c5. Okay, he goes knight takes. Bishop takes c6. Now you have two moves here, guys. Rook b8 and bishop a6. This one is wild. Man, I mean, they sacking this because you may be getting mated in the center of the board with this bishop here. I mean, this stuff gets nasty. Black has some very nice counterplay here. But we go knight c3 here from Roman's book. I just know knight c3 and sidestep a lot of this stuff. But he didn't go bishop a6. I'm fully prepared for this. Bishop a6 it's pretty extensive theory, but it's tricky. But bishop a6 is a move. But what he did is the easier, kind of I guess the strongest move, honestly, objectively, because most of the grandmasters in this position go rook to b8. Rook to b8, and that's the move. So rook to b8. Now, guys, we still do a piece count here. Actually, if we look at everything, 3 6 7 3 6. I am totally up a pawn here. So I'm up one pawn. Now I can take a second pawn, which I do. Queen takes d5. Because if he trades, then we're fine. But he goes queen e7, and this is where it gets very, very tricky. Now, of course, the next two moves are still theory. But what do you do here, guys? Do you save the pawn? Because I'm up 2 pawns technically. Technically, I'm literally up 2 pawns right now. So it should be kind of winning, right? So what do you do as white here? Do you save the pawns or do we get up out the way? Castles. Bail out and castle, says Foey. Let's just get out the way. Out the way, says Wookie. Save the pawn, says Mr. Royal. Save it. Too open. Got a castle. If it's there, it must be castle. Castles. King d2 from Flaming Kama jumps off the deep end immediately. Right into traffic. Out the card. What's good, big homie? What's up, Checkmate the Great? Welcome. Castle. Win with the legal moves. That's the thing. Correct, guys. Honestly, you just got to get out the way. There is no reason to you need to castle your king because rook d8's coming. This can be hanging. My queen can't defend this. I mean, as simple as this right here, and you're like losing on the spot. Queen takes e5. I'm hitting this. Where does your queen go? Oh, let's move it somewhere safe. You thought it was safe, and then it's like this is oh my goodness. Why? Whoa. Okay, what happened? Where did everything go? Where did the rest of my pieces go? So I just have to get out of the way. Castle, I'm out the way. He gets one pawn back. And now this gets very, very interesting here, guys. Do you go, what do you do? What do you do, actually? What do you do? White to move here. I did different, and I hit this with the engine a lot. I hit this with the engine because this was a very tough position for me. I used to get here with white and be almost lost because it's a lot of weird play here. How do I develop? Like, I have problems. My knight's still undeveloped. This is weird. It's a discoordination of the pieces, and it's not good. If you think about teams in like any sport, if your team chemistry is not right, and you're like, oh, I wanted him to go here, oh, I thought he was gonna go here, and you just miscommunicating, trying to pass the ball, he don't catch it, it get all crazy, you don't know what's happening, you lose the game. So it's this is how the pieces feel right now. The bishop's here. Why is it really here? The queen's blocking it. This pawn's kind of hanging. These are separated. There's a rook down here. I have not developed my knight. What do I do? There's a lot to do. So in the chat, Mr. Roy says queen to d4, hitting the rook. Queen e4 instead of b3 to save the pawn. You mean it before? Actually, we still have rook d8, and then after queen c3, I guess you could try to do that, but it's not recommended. You have to be very accurate for a long time, which is scary. Queen to d4. Queen d4 is a possible move here, and I think someone did say knight to c3. Actually, pawn c3. C3. So C3 is a move, but then we got to figure out where the knight's going, and knight A3 may not be here all the time. So actually, in the book, when I first read it, it was saying knight to C3, which is a move, actually. Knight to C3 is a move. Knight D2 is not a move. Knight D2 is just straight up not a move due to rook to D8, and that's a problem. That's a complete problem there. So we have to be careful. So instead, knight to C3 is the book move, and then after rook takes, they go into, they actually don't cover the rest of the game. But after rook to c2, this is a possible way to play this. And now I can play queen d4 for knight to d5. Honestly, the engine recommends knight to c3. And I still like to play knight c3 from time to time. But I remember hitting the engine with this. And at one point, I was playing knight to a3 as a secondary option. Because it does, at the time, at the moment, I am still up an extra pawn. So if there is faultiness here, if he's wrong, I get to keep my extra pawn here. And I get to give it back, if I give it back, the way that I want to. If you up material, you can give it back the way that you want to. So here, I'm up a pawn. So being up this pawn, I can kind of give it back later. So knight here was tricky because knight c3 is the standard. You don't always need to play the standard, just like Magnus Carlsen played, I forgot what game it was, but he played the Petrov against, or he played against the Petrov, remember, in the World Championship. Played against Fabi, and Fabiano played the Petrov, and he went right here. Carlsen played knight to d3 instead of knight f3, and the world went crazy. Oh man, knight d3, I've never seen it. And the move always been there, but nobody plays knight to d3. So it was very wild. And I can do the same thing here, knight a3 or knight c3. Knight a3 is more interesting. It's one of the sidelines. So I went knight to e3. I'm anticipating, you know, maybe knight to c4 in some cases. You can always bring the queen to f3 and also set up like this and just say, I'm going to defend my pawns and try to play around it and eventually win the endgame, which is very, very interesting here. So what did he do? Okay, I went knight a3. He went bishop e6. Where do you put the queen? You got to probably make threats. Queen f3 is also an option, but queen d4 immediately just hits the rook. I gain a tempo. He puts the rook f to b8 here. Now, this is quite interesting, guys. A lot to do here. What do you do as white? What do you do as white? What do you think the evaluation here is, guys? Your evaluation. Is it equal? Is white better? Is black better? What's going on? And when I hit this with the engine, I was surprised. Honestly, I was very surprised. I had like a 96, 97% accuracy. And I think he was like right behind me. But it was very strong. Like I had a very nice accuracy here. Maybe higher, but it was very good. I basically got all the moves right from this point. It felt very good. But also, it was very weird, honestly, because I didn't feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, it's tough playing in that. Hey, Canty, first time I watched the stream, I was memorized by Smooth Boys, and I saw felt weak in the knees. Oh, thanks. Okay, nice. Bishop u5. Bishop u5. Captain Prawns, thanks for the follow. Knight c4, knight b5. Oh, knight b5 is actually hanging a piece. I thought about knight b5, but then he could just honestly take it. And then I don't have any tricks. I even thought rook b1, you know, to try to take over the back rank as well. It just didn't work out. Those problems. Right now I have to go. Good luck to the rest of the stream. Bye. Thanks, LJ. Appreciate you, bro. See you later. Knight to c4, subbed but not followed. Captain Bronze, thanks for the follow. All right. So knight to c4 and rook b1 from Mr. Royal. Rook b1 was a possibility too. Let me actually, does anyone, what do you think the evaluation here is, guys? Is it white's better? Is it equal? What do you think it is? I'm up a pawn, by the way. I'm up a pawn. Heatmeister says rook f d1. Rook f b1, save the pawn. Rook c1. So let me tell you what the first move is. First, -2 for short pawn. He says -2, getting crushed, big fella. You're getting crushed. Bishop d5. Bishop d5 is not a move, I don't think, yet right now. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Bishop d5 is interesting. White better than trading rooks. I think black's better. Rook f to c1. Here's the evaluation, guys. It's plus 0.026. It's literally equal. Every line here is about equal. Every line. And I'm up a pawn. Why is that? Why is that? So think about this. You know, the rook, you have a, what is it? It's activity. It's activity. So with this activity having, of black having the rook on the 7th rank, this is going on. Knight's on c5, that's a great square. The pieces are active. So me being up a pawn is not as really being up a pawn. I'm not really being up a pawn here. So I do have this extra pawn. He does have to be accurate. The guy is 25-54, so he's very strong here. But it's equal in all lines. And the engine says f4 is the first move. Not a move to me. Not what I'm doing. Shout out to you if you said rook f to b1 or any rook to b1. This was not as good because I think, not that he could take this, but rook f to b1 was apparently the better move than rook a to b1. So that's the move. What I did, shout out to you, Heatmeister. I actually played rook f to d1. So I just went here because I wanted to keep possibilities of doing this on the back rank. maybe putting some type of pressure, you know, on this file. I just thought this was correct, just to put it here and see what happens. So I put the rook f to d1 because I really didn't want to trade. I wanted to keep hope alive and do all other kind of things. So he plays g6 here. Now, after g6, I thought a while. I looked around the board. It was very tough here. I actually played the engine first move here. So I was feeling great. I was feeling great. Like when I looked at this analysis, I was like, well, shoot, I am a Jedi. Okay, well, that was great. So g6, but it was definitely, you think so much differently when you play in the game. You're like, man, I do not want to mess this up. And you think about other things and etc. But I played this just fine. What do you actually play as white here, guys? g6 is on the board. This is not as easy. And this is something that you can't face in a Scotch Gambit here when you have to play dynamically. Also understand what's going on the board, especially with these pawn the structures, that it looks kind of messed up. But also his is messed up too. There's a knight on c5. Your knight still hasn't gotten to the game. It's a lot. It's a whirlwind of thinking here. I've lost many games with this line. So I had a lot of experience to start figuring out what's right and what's not. Knight to c4, and we have c4 from elevation. Knight to c4 is a move as well. And c4 from elevation. These are definitely moves, folks. I'm more of an attacking player too. Like, I don't have h4, h5. I don't have this. I don't have the attack that I would love to get. But I don't. I just don't have it. Bishop d5, put the bishop there. c4, h4 from Marathon Man. h4, h5, h6 kind of stuff. Here we go. This is what I played. Engine recommendation. Shout out to you thinking like the engine. c4. I played c4, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this weakness. And then if I have to, I can hit it with knight b5 and block the connection so the rook's hanging. I could also play bishop d5. And in lines with bishop d5, you had to be careful in some cases of him playing rook d8. Now, his rook's actually hanging, so it would never work. But when I go here, I don't have issues. I don't have any issues. And the pawns helping defend it, so I can move the queen off if I have to. Pretty nice. So I played c4. AJC, hi chat. What's up? What's up? Bunkinator, welcome to the stream. So c4 was played. Rook 2 to b4. He goes here. I put the bishop on d5. Then he goes rook a4. I'm like, that's good. That's good stuff here. Now, where do you go, guys? Do you go knight b5, knight c2, queen e3, or queen c3? These are your moves. Knight c2, knight b5, queen e3, or queen c3. Thanks for the follow, Sirius96. Welcome to the stream. My knight is under attack. Where am I putting it? b5, c2, queen c3, or queen e3. We have knight b5 from Mr. Royal. Knight c2 from Max. Knight b5 from Flaming Hakama. Foey with knight to c2. b5 from Heat Miser. c2 from Easy Rider. Here we go. It's either knight b5 or knight c2, it looks like, right? Let's see what happens on b5. Knight to b5, and you have jumped off the deep end. Somebody get him. Oh my goodness, send a stretcher in the chat. I'm about to send it to everybody with the knight b5. That's your stretcher. Take it nicely. Do what you want with it. Knight b5, rook takes b5, drop the mic. Oh my goodness. He just hit that man with a move. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. GG. Get him out of here. Rook takes b5. Not a move. Start a new one. Try again. Try again. Knight takes b5 is not a move. So it's actually knight to c2. It was my only move. I didn't even think about it. I was like, you know what? Everything's solid here. I have no issues. And I'm just going to get out the way. Knight e3 is the route, maybe, just to sit here and chill and relax. So he takes it on d5. I can't take with the pawn for obvious reasons, guys. The queen's hanging. So I can't take with the pawn. Correct. Absolutely. F6 is the go here, especially after he captured. I'm trying to get to f6. So watch this. Okay, queen takes d5. I was like, people saying knight b5. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great looking move. It really is. Knight b5, bro. Drop the mic, and then you pick it right back up as soon as they take it. Rook takes b5. Yeah. Queen takes d5. He goes knight to e6. Okay. I put the knight on e3. He goes rook b2. And I'm like, whoa, rook b2. So here, guys, I had a dilemma. What do you actually do? I was trying to figure out a move. I was trying to be very clever here. He also has a 7th rank. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Rook to b2 is on the board, bro. I didn't understand what was wrong with knight b5. Let's go back to it right here. Knight b5. Actually, sorry, wrong one. Knight b5. Rook takes b5. And I take the queen. I take the rook, and we take the queen. That is why knight b5 does not work. So here we go. Rook b2. Thanks, no problem. Queen a8. Okay, rook x queen. That's right. Here too. Queen a8, queen a8, queen a8. Looking like queen a8. Knight g4. Okay. Knight g4, knight g4. Nice. You guys are on it. The only two moves that I considered here. I didn't consider anything else but these two moves. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go queen a8 first. So I chose queen a8, and the engine says that the best move is none of these. It's queen f3, queen e4, or king g7. But we don't care. I'm not an engine. I'm a Jedi. So I went queen a8, check. He goes queen f8, actually. Queen f8 is what he chose because king g7 was easily just going to run into knight g4 and knight f6. That's the plan, right? So we got to do something here. I'm also still up this pawn, but temporarily, it's temporary. So he's hitting a2. This guy's very strong. He's from Russia here, and he, 25-59, and he's very strong. So I'm like, okay, let's just go queen a8. He goes queen f8. I'm like, well, I don't trade queens unless I'm winning ever. So queen c6. Here we go. And maybe, sometimes it depends on if I'm getting a winning position or, there's exceptions to it. But most people that know me know that I just don't trade queens in these kind of positions. So queen c6, and my rooks aren't that active either, so it would be bad trade. So I went queen to c6, put threats on the board. My students know threats over everything most times. Make a threat, and then you can find another move to make. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go queen here, and he's starting to, his pawns, is definitely, he can get his pawn back. He did. He took it. He got his pawn back. Takes. Okay, and then I hit him with a move. I go knight d5. So I'm like, I'm hitting this. I'm also hitting this. And not that this is mate, but this knight on f6 is very annoying. And there are mating threats. They born like 1800. So he's like 12 years old with that ELO. They born like 1800. Actually, to correct you, J. Roach, they born 2100. That's how it usually goes. So, but you are correct, J. Roach. They born 2100. So knight to d5. And then he went queen to c5. Here we go. Queen c5. Combo time. Okay. I pulled out the lightsaber. I took the robe off. And I went to work here, guys. Now it's your turn to go to work. What do you do here? What do you do as a master Jedi here? The lightsaber is in your hands. Use it wisely. What do you do? Queen to c5. White to move. Queen e8 from Cooked Alive. Knight f6 or knight e7, says Femi Hakama. Knight check from Fui. Queen e8 check. We got knight e7. Knight e7. Man, a lot of knight e7s. Pro casual gamer. Knight e7, guys, is not a move. I just snap it, and I'm going to stare at you real hard. Real hard. I mean, real hard. Real hard. Knight e7 is not a move. Queen e8 check. Oops. That's okay. Queen e8. Queen e8, I just go queen f8. And it's really nothing. And actually, the engine says it's -1 after king g7, -1. That's surprising. Crazy how that works. I'll even show you. King g7. Let's say you go knight f6. Like, oh, I'm about to mate you. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to mate you. Ha, ha. And then you get mated first. And then it's like, oh, man. Oh, man, he was just here. What happened? He fell out the car all the way down. With a smile. Jumped out the deep end. Get him out of here. Not a move. Not a move. Queen e8, just not good. Oh, yeah, but it looks good, though. Finger slipped. It happens. 97 is losing. Bye-bye. Correct. Yo, Canty, what's up, Box Life? What's up, Box Life? Knight f6, knight e8. So here we go. Perfect. Queen to c5. Okay? I went knight f6. Boom. Knight f6, check. He goes to the only move. King to g7. Find the moves, guys. Find the moves. Find the moves here. By the way, it is completely equal. Engine says it's equal. That's why you need 2 evaluations. One is the human and one is the computer evaluation. So computer is like, bro, straight equal. all the way down. I know the next 72 moves from here. But then, you know, us, it's like this man jumped off the deep end. He's out. We got him. We got him somehow, some way. 98. I see queen f3. You got to look at the whole board. It says pawn sire. Queen f3 from Easy Rider. Queen f3s. Queen f3 does protect mate on f2. Does queen x e6 magically work? Well, you know what? Let's see it. Queen takes. And then, oh my goodness, what happened? He was here. He just fell off the building. I don't even know. Oh, queen takes f2 here and then mate. Nothing works. It doesn't work, big fella. It doesn't work. It looks like it does. Queen f3. I'm not a fan of it because I don't have a strong follow-up. I do not have a strong follow-up. G4 from Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter, hey man, how are you? Oh, I'm okay. Oh, I was just, oh. And then he disappeared. He was gone. I have no idea where he went. He just jumped off the deep end. GG. Not a move. So we have to do something about f2. There's nothing to do, right? Queen a8, not a move. Same thing. He was just here. We don't know where he went. He got mated quickly. And actually, you know what? You know what? It actually defends mate. So actually, that could be a thing. But the better move is queen takes c5. Queen takes c5 now. So now I can do this. 98 check, I'm running. And then you need your queen still. I mean, this is crazy. Nobody has said it yet, except actually, no, we got it. We got it. Here it is. Queen takes c5, rook d8. I see it. There it is. There it is. You guys are correct. Queen takes c5. Okay, takes. Now, what do you do right now? Hold up. What do you do? What's the move? White to move. White to move, guys. White to move. I just want to see it in the chat. Where is it? Who moves what to where? But Messi says rook f1. Check with the knight from New Dab. Knight g4 from Dina Webb. Then we got knight check. Okay, you can win the c pawn. Okay, win the c pawn. That's correct. I can come around and snap that. 98. Rook d8 from Easy Rider. G4. We got 98 once again. Okay. F3. Luft. Foley's correct. Luft is when you make a pawn move. Get your king out. H3 from Mr. Royal. Nice, guys. You got some good ideas here. Good ideas. But I have not seen the Jedi move here. I have not seen it. It is not in the chat now. Rook to d1. Never mind, says Easy Rider. Correct. Rook d8. I know what you mean. It is not in the chat. I don't see it yet. H4 from Vex. I don't see it. H3 from Moss Beats. Not a move. We're going to talk about all these moves too. Until I see it, we're going to talk about these moves. G3. No. Rook d8. Losing. King f1. Rook d5. Still haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. H1. Haven't seen it. There we go. Found it. G4 from Fak. G4 from Fak. Good move. G4. That is the move. Now, watch this. Watch this. H3, I can easily play H3. But when you have to have intention with your moves, guys. Who was it? It was Carlson playing in the World Championship match for 960, if you watched it. Or was it 960? No, it was with Fabi, I think. Well, he played B4, right? Yeah, it was Fabi. It was Fabi in the 960 match. And he was playing Fabiano. And at one point, there was a draw line where he was, and you saw Magnus. I don't know if you remember this, if you was watching this on Twitch, and he played B4. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was going crazy because you could have played A3. You could have played B3. But he played B4. And I was like, oh, that's sweet because it has intention to it. So the moral of the story is you have to have intention with these moves. Even with the luft. Even with the luft you make here, H3. Yeah, you know what? You can do H3. It makes luft. F4, I mean, yeah, you can do that. But G4 is intentional luft. It's intentional. So G4, I play in G4, right? I play G4. Doesn't rook d8 get you back ranked? That's correct. And let's actually talk about that. H3, yeah, it's not intentional. 98, I mean, yeah, you can. And then we go into an endgame that is still not, it's not crushing. These pawns are very weak. So, if you know your endgames, you can draw this easily with black. Easily if you know your endgames. So, it's not, we get in a pawn, yeah, but not a healthy pawn. And these pawns aren't that healthy themselves. So it's not easy. He also got a pass pawn. There's counterplay. It's too equal. 98 is not a move. So I hit the man with G4. Okay. Intention behind the move. Okay. What he's supposed to do here, what he's supposed to do is rook E2. or knight e6. The man found the highest building he could find here, okay, walked up to the top floor and jumped off the deep end all the way down with a smile as he plays h6, h6, and it worked. At this point, this is when I smiled, and I just laughed. I just smiled. I remembered, smiled, took out my lightsaber, quick, swift, across my body, and he dropped. Quick, right across my body, and he dropped. Literally, g4. G4, right? Because G4 helps. Let's go back. H3. Let's do it this way. H3. Let's say he does the same move or something. H6. Rook D8, looking for mate. You know what? Oh, let me get out. H6. Okay, and then the king goes. Oh, H6 here. Check here, and I'm out of the woods here. Oh, try to close me in. Yeah, but you're not getting mate. I'm always able to run around you. I'm always able to run around, and it doesn't work. It does not work. I'm able to run. That's so crazy. So crazy. And I was like, you know what? I could play H3. I could play H4, but he could run. I remember this position in my calculations. So I was like, well, what if I go G4 to block his escape? That's correct. Says Sorbonne. It blocks his escape. So after the G4 move, it blocks him in. He played H6. I hit him with the move. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Here we go. And right here, he resigned. Right here, he resigned. But to finish it, H5 does not work because G5 takes away the square that he needs to run to. And the Jedi wins. The Jedi wins this game. After a simple faulty move here in the end, Jedi mastery at its finest here in the Scotch Gambit. This is one of the weirder lines that do end in draws, most likely. But there's very kind of there's these kind of tricks to help you win the game here, especially with this pawn on e5. He did make the weakness g6. Later on, we got the knight from b1 to f6 to help us win in checkmate fashion. Very nice. And again, if you're just getting here, this is the Scotch Gambit. Let's look at it again as how it happened here. Thanks for the follow, Pro Casual Gamer. Appreciate that. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. We go into the Scotch Gambit here. Knight f6, e5, all the regular stuff like it usually happens. Knight takes. Bishop c5, the weird stuff. This gets very tactical. Bishop to e3. You got his books in those glasses. He can't lose. That's right. G4 too early. Yep. Just such an awesome game. It is, man. It's such an awesome game. Some stuff we just still don't understand here, right? So Castle, good game. Thanks, man. What's up, Canty? Who's the highest rated player you have won against? I beat a 27-33 actually the other day. I was it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I just was only just because I didn't want to mess up no ratings because it's like 3 in the morning and I'm like not playing the best. So I'm playing bullet chess and got paired with this 27-33. Went down. I was like, oh, well, let's go, you know. So and then also I beat somebody else too. I beat JJ, which is JJ Chess, which is Shamil Camerandi. Very strong. But I beat him in a Scotch Gambit actually. It was like I think it was Arena Kings, something close to it. But we played on here on chess.com. I happened to win that game. It's pretty cool. So takes, but this is the game, Scotch Gambit, right? Castle, get out the way, knight a3, queen d4, and have a nice day, rook d1. And it gets positional here. We go c4 once again. Put the bishop on d5, knight b5. Not a move, guys. Let's not do it. Don't do it to yourself. This is live. Knight to c2, takes, knight e3. Check. Got out the way. Takes, better the position. Take, check, with the intention of rook to d8, but I need some stuff for my king, or I'll get mated. G4, because if he tries to run, I got g5. And he plays h6, jumps off the deep end. Somebody get him, rook d8. Oh my goodness. And it was over. And the Jedi wins. That's the Scotch Gambino. Jedi mastery in the Scotch Gambit.